welcome you to the show and thank you for watching and listening. And as usual, we have something that's very, very important as it relates not only to now, but as it relates to our future. Because we're going to talk about our children. And we're going to talk about what you can do. You know, all of us have an obligation to see to it that the community and the world continues to strive. And this program that we're going to talk about today plays a significant role in assuring that. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and today we're going to talk about big brothers and big sisters, which have to do with mentoring. And we have with us today Miss Betsy Fitzgerald.
Hello, how are you, Alex?
I'm outstanding, Betsy.
Good.
Who's the executive director
Yes, sir.
of Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And Miss Jackie Curtis.
Hello, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Who's the program
Director.
So one of you, don't y'all fight over it. Talk a little bit generally about Big Brothers, Big Sisters historically.
Sure. Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Heart of Georgia has been serving our community here for 66 years.
Wow.
I know a lot of people don't realize that. And then they also don't realize that we serve 15 counties of Central Georgia. And we have a lot of kids in need here, but we also have a lot of great volunteers. Nationally, we have one of the oldest brands. If you think about Coca-Cola, that's a brand. Well, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been around for over 100 years. It was founded in 1904. And part of the reason why we've had such success in our programming and longevity with our brand is because we have success. As a mom, and I know you're a dad, and it's really important for us to see that our children succeed, that they move forward and hopefully move out of the house one day and all those good things. And Big Brothers Big Sisters defends potential. We bring people in as employees, as volunteers, as supporters who want to defend the potential of our youth. We're not giving them potential. It's already in them.
Absolutely.
But we need to find a way to release it. And so many of our kids, especially the ones right here in our community, they come from families that might, cause for at-risk titles in a sense. So that might be a single parent household, and so many of those households are run by mom, that there's probably not a father figure in that household. It could be that the household lives at an income level that's much lower than others. They might not have food stability, housing stability. They might not have any, just basic needs aren't being fulfilled. Or they might actually on the outside look like it's a good family. Everything is fine. They go to church, everything is working, but on the inside there are problems, there's challenges. It could be something mental, like mental health,
Yeah.
which a lot of us don't talk about. It could be drug use. It could be other bad trauma type activities that have happened within the family, in the house or beyond, that definitely affects the family and that child. And so Big Brothers Big Sisters has a formula that has worked so hard, and what it is, the magic happens when we have one-on-one mentoring. There are really great mentor programs throughout this community. I know you've talked to many of them, and I love my colleagues because there's so many youth to serve. But the reason why our program is successful and has such a long track record of success, from education to staying in school to moving on to the next step and being successful whatever they're doing as an adult and making good decisions, is because of that one-on-one relationship, 1 hour a week with a mentor that is just theirs.
Okay, wow. So that proves the need. Matter of fact, you got me where I almost want to sign up now. But part of the requirements are, so what's the purpose of it? I mean, you just given, what it does, but let's talk about it, talk about it a little more broadly.
Sure.
Because, you've got this need out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the process of addressing the needs of these people?
Well, the first process is finding the right people, and also the process to getting the child matched. We serve kids kindergarten through 12th grade, and in that process on that side, you have normally mom that will call us. We also sometimes have referrals from schools, from churches, and even the DA's office. Often, if you have a child that's getting in trouble, that sometimes that, they might give this as an alternative as long as the student stays in our program, because they already know from the Department of Justice at the national level that our program is successful and with the mentorship. So when you have that happen, the mom is interviewed, the child is interviewed, because we want to hear both sides, what the needs are. We get to figure out the personality. And this is how that magic that gets to that question. Because on the other side, when we're looking for a mentor, we don't expect you to be a CEO of a company. We don't expect you to have even a college degree. But what you have to have is heart and dedication to that youth. Because for so many of them, they don't have anyone to count on. They've been let down so many times, and our mentors are expected to not let that child down, to not let that teenager down. That's someone they can count on and kind of be that voice. Mm-hmm. And there's sometimes confusion because there's different mentor programs that help a lot with academics. I know I can't do that new math. You probably can't either.
Okay.
I remember just using the normal line and plus sign here. But our folks are not tutors either. That all they have to do is to spend that quality time. It could be playing basketball in a park. It could be that they go to school and have lunch together and just chit chat. But it's just that interaction. It's not a lot of work, but that's where the magic happens. But to really make it successful is the interview process for the mentor that wants to join us. The background checks, of course, and all those things. I know we'll talk about safety in a little bit, but we do extreme interviews with these potential mentors because we want to find the right match. Because you might have a young man who loves football, and if I have a wonderful male volunteer who's an artist and calls it sports ball, probably not going to connect too much. Just like if you have a young lady who is so outgoing and the mentor is very quiet and introspective, that might not be helpful to be able to reach that child. And so our folks are very specifically trained to make sure that we make endearing matches. And that's why our national average for matches is in the 20-month-ish range, 23, 24 month. But ours here locally is 40 months. And here's my favorite statistic. An independent researcher, not Big Brothers Big Sisters, but someone on the national level, research organizations like ours who did one-on-one matching and mentorship. If a child is in our program for 48 months or more with that one-on-one mentor each month, each week, they are 93% more likely to pull themselves out of poverty by themselves.
Wow.
Now, that's not us giving money. That's not us giving them an education. That is just simply time and respect and energy. What an investment.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal event. I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
I founded a mentoring program several years ago called Adopt a Role Model.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my mentors told me about going to public housing to pick up his mentee. So the mentee told the whole community, because he was going to pick him up to take him to the movie. So, and his name, the mentor's name was Nolan Hicks. So when he got out of the car, of course, the mentee was, standing there waiting with a delegation. The whole community waiting for him to pick him up. But when Nolan gets out of the car, then all of the kids individually start saying, I want a role model.
Yes.
I want a role model.
Yes.
I want a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell that story to say that they deserve a role model.
Absolutely.
They deserve a mentor. And so from the need perspective, I've got a testimony. And I know it helps.
Yeah.
I know it helps. So talk about, whichever one of you want to talk about it, what it takes to be a mentor.
Well, as Betsy said, one of the first things is we want you to have a heart for children and a heart for giving back and investing. You know, a lot of times we think that the kid is going to benefit so much from the match, but the adult really does, because they can see that there's going to be a return on their investment.
Right.
And so that's number one. But we take child safety very seriously. And so, as she stated, we make sure that the interview process is very thorough. We're going to do a background check. We're looking to make sure you have insurance. If you're going to be picking up a child, we want to make sure that they're going to be safe. And so we take very, very specific steps to ensure that not only that this person has the passion, but they also have a background that is appropriate to work
Okay,
with
so
children.
what's the age range, first of all, of children that are eligible to participate in your program?
Elementary through high school. So,
If they're in school,
yes,
because we know that sometimes there's some high
So the
schoolers that are a
requirement is
little
that they're
older.
in school?
yes.
They have to be in school for now.
Real school?
Real school for now.
Not kindergarten, not K2?
Oh, kindergarten's okay.
Yeah.
Kindergarten's fine. The pre-K, we're not really ready
Okay.
to serve those youth right now like we could, but I know that we are looking at expanding programs post high school graduation. But right now, no matter your age, if you're in high school and if you're in all the way down to kindergarten, we'll take you.
Okay, now, you said something about 20% or 40%. What were you saying about, you gave a number as it relates to maybe the number of mentors or mentees that you have? Do you remember
I
what
think
you
it
were
was
saying?
about the national match was 20 months.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
Say
ours
that
is,
again.
so our average for a match is 40 months here.
That's over 3 years.
Yes, sir. And we have kids that were matched literally in elementary school, like cute little first graders, and they're now in high school. And we have ones that have long graduated. And
Now, when you say you're matched, you're talking about kids who have been matched
They're-
or kids who are waiting to be matched?
no, these are part of our program. They have mentors.
Okay.
And they maintain those relationships. And in fact, I just heard a story about Chris Wieters. A lot of people know Chris and Krista Wieters. He's a local insurance salesperson here and investment person. And he met his wife actually when he was with his little brother out in the park. And they happened to meet Krista, who was with her little sister. And,
Oh, wow.
And
So they both were at the program?
yes, they were both in the program,
Wow.
but they were both bigs, and because our adults we call bigs, and the littles are little, even though they might be twice as tall as I am, because you know I'm a little
But
height.
you call the mentors big
Yes,
and the mentees
littles.
little. Okay.
Yes, no matter how tall you are. But Chris just posted on Facebook how proud he was of his little brother. Now, his little brother is long out of college, has gotten married, and is having his first baby. And Chris is just so proud. It's like it's his son. That he is so excited about this baby coming into the world and how successful his little brother has become.
Right.
And that just shows these endearing relationships.
And that's the return that you talked
Exactly.
about.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, that's extremely important. Well, one of you, make an appeal, if you would, to encourage. It's really not that hard.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then often what I would tell my mentors is that, you don't need to do, and yours a little different, but you don't need to do necessarily anything special.
Mm-mm.
If you're going to church, just bring them along. If you're going
Right.
to the movie, just bring them along.
Exactly.
If you're having Thanksgiving dinner, just bring them along.
And we also provide additional activities to enrich the matches because there's no cost. Because this is a big question that is asked. How much is it going to cost mom? How much is it going to cost me as a mentor? Nothing. We pay for those background checks. We, all those pieces, and then we provide a lot of things. We have great partners. Mercer University is a great partner with us. We get free tickets to athletic games and different activities. But we also, another great example is the state fair. So many of us go there and then you find out how much a coat costs, right? And the state fair, the national fair, was so wonderful in giving all of our bigs and littles free tickets and food coupons this year. And so anyone that wanted to attend that was in our program had that opportunity. So we do try very hard to do it. But I actually have a story that I think could appeal to some folks. So we get calls all the time for people asking for information. And this was a different kind of call. This was a little boy that called. And I would say he was probably about 10-ish. His voice was still a little high, but you could tell it was starting to do something, you know. And his call was interesting. It went on for a long time, but I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of it. And he told us his name, and he said he wanted a big brother. And then he started telling us about his family. He's like, well, I live with my mama, and I live with my 4 sisters, correct? And my mama's a girl.
Is it what?
Girl. My sisters are girls, and they do girl things like paint nails. I mean, he even gave us, and play with dolls.
And the dog.
Oh, the dog is a girl. Then we later found on, a few seconds later, that he also has a cat who's a girl. He has a teacher, a girl. And the auntie comes to the house often who's a girl. It just went on and on. But this young man had the courage to call our number and ask for a big brother. I need a big brother for this child. Because if he's doing that, do you know how many other kids are too shy or don't know how to find the phone number for us?
Right.
And to me, that young man knows he needs a father figure. We're not replacing fathers. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. But so many of them don't have a positive male role model in their life. And I know that you and I've talked about this before, offline and online, that if they're not hearing it from someone down the street's telling it to them. And that's on the block, and that's when big trouble happens.
Right.
And I know for us, we have a waiting list. We have a big waiting list. And if we could get mentors, male and female, but particularly male, to step up to the plate and help us, to help these kids, to empower them and ignite them with their amazingness, we have a chance of saving lives. Because we've had kids on our waiting list who have died. And I sometimes wonder if they had had a mentor, if they had had a big, would they have even been in the neighborhood when that happened?
Yeah.
So my call to action is step up.
But we don't want this to be an exercise in futility. You know, we are doing this program in an effort to, you know, that's where my heart is, trying to do. And let me tell you what the interesting thing is. Everybody can do something. You know, a lot of people think that, well, I can't be involved because I work, or I don't have enough money, or I got my own family. You know, as far as I'm concerned, excuses come out of trash cans. We can find the time, including me. I'm gonna do it. You know, again, you know, we can find the time to do something to help the community. If there's a problem, you know, and we're not trying to do anything, I think we got an obligation to life, you know, to the community and to the world, to do something positive, to do what we can do to help. So this mentoring program is a way to do it. Now, so talk a little bit about your population. I mean, how many you need and what ages, and you know, just make an appeal, because hopefully, whatever criterion you come up with, you know, it can be somebody out there that will at least give you a call to try to find out more information.
Absolutely. Well, to be a regular mentor in our program, you need to be at least 18 or older. We don't care, again, about your education background, what you do. Do you go to church? Any of those things aren't important to us in a sense, because we really do want to have a variety of people from many varied backgrounds, because you can bring so much to the table and experience that you just don't know what kind of good things that you can bring until you talk to us. Because we always have a child that has something in them that's how we find them to find that right match. But we want you to be an adult. We want you to be able to be willing to go through the process. We do not bend our rules and regulations regarding safety, period. I know as a mom, I want to make sure that my child is always safe.
Right.
Okay? We have school and community-based programs, and I think this is where some people feel a little more comfortable going into the schools. But we have partnerships with schools in the entire region where they can go when the school is open during school hours. And they go and they have a space that we negotiate with the school. So they might go meet in the science lab or the cafeteria, the gym, something like that. But they're one-on-one. They're not going to take this little kids, friends, all with them. It's one-on-one. But that's during the school day.
Now you're saying that if you are a mentor, then one of the things that you can do as a part of that process in mentoring a young person, you can go into the school
Yes.
and see that kid
Yes.
one-on-one and
Yes.
talk with him, and wow. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, but a lot of people feel much more comfortable doing that, at least to get started, because they really don't know the program, and also kind of helps them a little more accountable. If and some people have a little more flexibility during the workday to slip out, because they do have soccer and homework and all those things, and church at night, and then that pesky dinner thing we have to do. So, that helps. In some of our communities that we serve, we have businesses and organizations that will allow employees to take time off during the workday without having to take vacation or sick leave for personal time. One of our best examples of that is Robins Air Force Base, that their DoD civilian employees can come and work with our students in Houston County, because they don't have that much time to get back to Bibb County or Twiggs or wherever they live. But they are able to do that, and we have people that have been in the program since 1998 as big sisters or big brothers, because it makes it easy. That barrier of I don't have time gets broken down, because some of us are scared to ask our employer. But I have never heard of an employer saying no when they know it looks good for them. And I don't know an employer that doesn't like it when their logo T-shirt,
Right.
or like YKK or
Right.
Amazon, that goes out. That's advertising for them to go, hey, that could be a job for me later on.
Right.
So that is an option. But our community-based mentors, I think they're the ones that have the most fun, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Because you have the world's your oyster in a sense. So for some of our kids, this might be the first time we have a partnership with Fort Valley State University, a very fine institution. If one of our bigs takes their little to that school, that might be the first college campus they have ever stepped on campus with. They might see the band and go, what? My band doesn't look like that out in Twiggs. I know it probably does. but they get excited. They see there might be a Chick-fil-A. I know that would sell me maybe. The cafeteria food's improved a lot since I was in school.
Right.
But you can do activities, but more importantly, you don't even have to do that. Just be in your element. Go to the park. We have folks that love to go hang out at McDonald's because they like the ice cream and coffee. Because those kids these days, many of them like the coffee.
Right.
Go to Starbucks. Go hang out at the lake. Go to different places. So you really can meet anywhere, and so it's just that experience one-on-one with that child, and you can just talk about anything.
So the minimum time that one is asked to spend is 1 hour per week.
That's what we ask.
But it can be more.
Could be more, and some of our mentors mix it up because, we have folks that are active duty that go on TDY, so they need, to do 2 hours one week and 2 hours another week to kind of make it up. And some do full days every time they see them.
How is it monitored?
Well, we have what we call match support. So once the match is made between the big and the little, someone in our office is following up. For the first year of the match, we're contacting both the big and the little once a month to ask questions like, how is it going? Do you see an improvement in attitude, behavior? Is there anything going on that's making you uncomfortable? So we carefully monitor. We don't just match them and say, here you go.
Right. That's very important. Well, how does one get involved? I thought you never thought I'd never ask, did you?
I didn't think you would ever ask, but it's that we actually kind of make it easy. We don't do smoke signals anymore because we found that it's not so good when it's cloudy. But call our office, go to our website, which actually is the best and easiest way because you can go on and fill out a form. But it's bbbsheartga.org. Okay, so 3-letter B's for big brother, big, S for sister, heartga.org. But if you also go to the national website, you put your zip code in, it will make sure that you get put in touch with our office directly, and then our intake customer service specialist will talk to you. Anyone can sign up, but I can tell you that you must have, if you know of a child and it's not your own, we will have to get the guardian or parent involved in the process. We don't do anything without permission, but we can get that ball rolling. If you want to be a mentor, same process. All you have to do is call or visit our website at bbbsheartga.org. We are also very shortly going to start having some community events around the region, led by Gary Rosser, who is on our board of directors. And they are specific mentor recruitment events that many of them are going to be held in community locations and churches. And so we'll make sure that we have that schedule up and can send that out when that gets published.
Yeah.
But it's a painless procedure to begin with. It might be a little bit lengthy, but it's so worth it. So worth it.
So, I mean, how many mentors could you use?
Right now, we could use well over 100. Well over
Okay.
100, and that's just in this local area right now. And the age doesn't matter, but we have kids of all varieties and sizes.
Now, what input would the possible mentor have in who he or she is paired with?
That's a great question, and we allow the mentor to tell us, well, I prefer a kid between this age. I prefer a kid who likes sports. I'm not really into sports, don't give me that type of kid. So we ask them, because again, we want them to be comfortable in the process, and we want longevity.
You can't specify ethnicity if you wish.
Yes.
Yeah.
We also do that with mom, because I think that, we have to really value that parent relationship, because who should know their child better?
And I received a call a couple of weeks ago, and the mom said, you give kids mentors? Yes, ma'am. Well, I want my kid to have a mentor, but I don't want a soft male. I want somebody who's going to be stern. Yes, ma'am. We understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How old was the kid?
he was 12 years old.
Okay, give the contact information again.
Sure.
So,
www.bbbsheartga.org. And you can just call the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Macon office as well. Our website has all that information plus an online form. Just leave us a
you know the number
voicemail.
by heart?
No, sir. Why would I know that? I don't even know my own cell phone number by heart. I can't believe you would do that to me. You have my heart.
I got to go.
I have a 5-year-old. For all your moms, you know what sleep deprivation is right now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you can just call the website. Go, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I want to give the number.
You give the number, but I was just waiting for you.
The telephone number is 478-745-3984. And then I'm going to give you her extension so she, next time she'll know the number. Extension 114, Mason Fitzgerald.
I love it.
Executive Director. This is a call to action.
A call to
I'm
action.
your host, Alex Havisham. Go to the website. Call the number. I mean, I know that a lot of people are retired or whatever, got some time. It doesn't take a lot of time. But I'm sure, and I promise you, that the rewards are measurable. And, you can try it out, and I'm sure you'll like it. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Have a great day.